Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay, the #1 source for competitive Legends of Runeterra news and information. If you're looking for the best decks to play right now, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Master Runeterra or in our Discord. And if you want to take the next step in leveling up your game, check out our Runeterra team on Patreon, where we do weekly learning calls and one-on-one coaching. Now strap in and grab yourself some Poro snacks, because we are about to start Mastering Runeterra.
Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay. We've got a great show for you today. First up, though, we have to thank our sister podcast, Runeterra Radio, with Saucy and Blevins. If you want more awesome Runeterra content, be sure to go check them out. You can find them on all the usual platforms. They're on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. They are the best. We absolutely love them. If you guys want more Runeterra stuff, check them out. They're great. And of course, we have to thank our patrons, everyone that supports us over on our Patreon page, who, let us keep doing what we do, what we love to do, bringing you guys more content. And, we do like weekly learning calls, 101 training, VOD reviews. So if you haven't done so already, go check out our Patreon page. If you're looking to level up your Runeterra game, there's kind of something there for everyone.
Not to mention just a very active Discord community. Very
That's
active.
right. Yeah, the Discord is free to join as always. So if you haven't done so yet, come join us on Discord. We're in there basically all day, every day, hanging out with a community of awesome people, just chatting Runeterra, trying to get better, having a good time. So with all of that out of the way, let's jump into... there was one more thing that we had to do. We got a bit of a giveaway here. I didn't tell Bay about this before we started recording.
I'm hearing this as well for the first time.
He loves it when I give away our money. I'm just always just trying to give it away. He loves it so much. It's his favorite thing. So I wanted to surprise him with this one. So it looks like there is a potential for, let me just look it up here real quick. The next 63 of you have the chance to subscribe to our YouTube page and be in the first 1,000 subscribers that we get, so that when we hit 1 million subs, you can say that you were there at the beginning and you helped Jay and Bay get monetized and were in the first 0.1% of subscribers to join that channel. So
what, 60 away from 1,000?
We are 64 away currently. So
it's exciting.
At the time of this recording, jump in there. It's gonna go. It will go. Plug, and then you'll never have the chance to be in the top first 1,000 ever again. So make sure you come and subscribe. Also, we put out a bunch of good content. Like maybe you'll be interested in that kind of thing.
Was there a giveaway part to this? I feel like you were
that was it.
Wrapping into that.
The thing you can win is the chance to be in the first 1,000.
That's so dumb.
I know. I thought this up a while back, and I've been meaning to do it for a couple of weeks now. And since we're about to hit 1,000, I'm like,
you're right down to the wire. Yeah, you were really cutting close. What if one of our videos just did well yesterday, and you lost a chance forever?
Well, it wasn't particularly a good bit, and that's why I kind of
That's so true.
I needed it today, though. I needed the little bit of stupid pick me up. And now I have it. So thank you for bearing with me. Speaking of stupid bits that we're going to do, today we are going to do a little bit of Hot or Not Runeterra version. So I'm going to pepper Bay with a bunch of questions about new decks, champions, random other assortment of things from Runeterra. And he's going to give basically a thumbs up, thumbs down, hot or not, and his opinion on them. Partially because the current meta is wild. It is so crazy. There's so many new decks coming out. It's like hard to keep up with everything. It's like, what's good? What's not good? We only know so much. You can only play so many games so quickly. And it feels like every day there's just a ton of new decks. A lot of them are, just variants of like the champions, the new champions that just came out, right? There's like literally Akshan everything.
Like, that dude's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Viego. There's a lot of different Viego decks running around. Mm-hmm. So that's basically what we're gonna do today. We're gonna do just a little like we'll just talk Runeterra, just throw it out there. We're gonna pick Bay's brain, basically, is what we're gonna do. Okay, before we jump into it, any thoughts on the current state of things, the meta, and what you've experienced so far?
Yeah, I really like it right now. This is the most open a meta's been in a long time. Like a long time. The patch is the big patch. Not this expansion. The big patch that nerfed and buffed everything. That was like the best thing to happen to Runeterra since I started playing. It's so huge for the open.
I like the last one. I like the last one better.
Oh, really? The TF Fizz Aphelios one?
Yeah, this one's almost like too wild for me. The last one, the last one was, same sort of thing, but then what came afterwards was like a sort of like an open meta, but it wasn't like too crazy. Like there was like, there was like a lot of decks you could be playing, but there were at least some kind of pillars of the format, something that was like gluing it together. Whereas right now, like, I just ran to Feel the Rush, and then I ran into like Echo, and then I ran to Action, and then I ran to Sivir, then I ran to Lee Sin, and I'm just like, these are all totally different things that are doing drastically different game plans, and I don't even know which one of them's good. I don't even know which one's. Do I target something? Do I just jump in with everyone else and be super linear and just like one trick it with like my elusives or my pirates? Or
it's rank 1.
It's
as
very
of recording,
confusing.
Teemo Zed Sudden with Teemo Zed Kinku Elusives is rank 1. Feint HD was up at like 550 LP last night with Fizz Draven. It's basically Fizz Draven, Elusives, and Pump Spells.
Sorry, I must have misheard you. I think we have a poor connection here. I could have sworn you said Fizz Draven.
You're exactly right. Yeah, Feint HD, the Fizz player himself, the man, the myth. Feint. The deck's basically like elusive units and then pump spells, like Elixir of Wrath, the new +5/+0 Thornblade.
Oh wow!
And he just plays elusives and just beats your ass. Like that's all it is. It's definitely the best Brothers Bond deck that I've seen, because he just goes like, Fizz, other elusive dude, Brothers Bond hit you for $1 billion.
So
you just have to start blocking. You have to block everything.
Is the format wide open, or do we just have a whole bunch of different like pump race you decks that you can play? There's like Sivir.
I think it's pretty open. I mean, like you said, there's also like Feel the Rush. Viego decks are doing pretty well.
Here's my question: are those decks actually doing well? All these Viego decks.
I mean,
is Feel the Rush even doing well? Is Karma doing well? Is Lee Sin doing well?
People with them were at like 400 or 500 LP. So I don't know if they just switched to the deck or they've been playing it, right? I don't know. But I know that, like, we'll probably get into this more, but Cephalopod in What Am I made a Shen Jarvan deck with the Scattered Pod, which is, by the way, my favorite card of the expansion. The 6-mana 5/6 Whale with a tune that lets you pick a slow, like, you get to draw a slow, fast spur spell, and if you have a lightning, it has elusive. It's so sick with the Shen J4 deck, because you just cut all the counter spells, and if you pick slow, you always get the Rally card, right? The 4-mana one. It gives a guy Barrier and Rally. If you pick fast, you always get a single combat or a concerted strike. Then if you pick burst, you always get Sharp Sight or Barrier. So it's like burst for your combat tricks, fast for your combat spells, and slow for a Rally, and you just get to pick which one you want. And it's so nice. It's such a great addition to the deck.
It is just big. Is it a 5/6?
It's big. 5/6 is big. 5/6 or 6
yeah.
in Ionia. Yeah. And I've had so many games where I just like play 2 of them, and then it's like turn 10, and I just go attack you, rally, attack you, like yay.
Do they get elusive? Like if they're in play already?
Yeah, they get elusive at turn 10. Yeah. Oh yeah.
See, I thought you had to play it after.
Nope.
Oh, wow, that is
That's a good card.
real good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very strong. And Jarvan's like just in a really good spot right now because it's so strong against things like Sivir and Runeterra.
Is it really? Yeah.
Just kill it. Yeah. And just bink.
Just challenge it.
Yeah. So the deck's super strong. That's mostly what I've been using to climb for the last like day. I would say a day or two. It's only been one day. I just played a lot of it. Pretty good. I'm like 350 LP or something. Deck seems very strong.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the next deck that I'm playing because, like I'm harkening back to. I guess maybe this is. I wonder if there's anyone out there like me. When new cards come out, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm just going to be real bad with them for a while, and I always like playing ranked. I don't like playing not ranked or all my Smurf, which I just kind of got to get over. And I don't want to just like suck and lose all my LP. So I just end up like not playing with the new cards, just being like, I'll just wait and see what's actually good, and then I'll jump over. And then I end up with like, oh, hey, I never actually picked up Aurelia Azir. I probably should have just done that early and like smashed everyone.
I'm exactly the opposite. I see new cards and I just throw them in a deck and I go, this looks good. Ranked. Like, oh, someone else played this deck. This looks like a pretty cool deck. Not really sure how it works. Ranked. Like, yeah. I can't get myself to play normals. I'm being a lot smarter about it this season though. Like I'm playing on my Smurf on stream and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
As much as I can. I'm trying to play normals when I'm making like YouTube videos with decks I know are bad. Or at least I know aren't competitive, right? I don't make YouTube videos with bad decks. But decks that aren't like super good or super competitive. Because last season that just cost me so much LP and there was so long where I was just like floating between like 300 and 450 LP and just couldn't quite get to like the 550 I was looking for. And like I mentioned before, I'm trying to get to 550 to get the 7-2 tiebreaker, which is about where I think I need to be. And then I plan on just not playing that account anymore. I'm just going to switch to my Smurf and only play that one to not lose my ranking.
Yeah. Which is also like what I'm more or less trying to do. Mm-hmm. Just haven't been playing nearly as much as I want to.
You had a busy last week. You were pretty slammed.
Been very busy. Getting caught up though. This week was a lot of getting caught up on content and stuff. Mm-hmm. And let's see. The seasonals is fast approaching.
Yeah, what, 4 weeks away?
Yeah, it's literally 4 weeks away tomorrow. And again, that sounds like a lot. It's not.
Nope.
There's like there's so much new stuff. The meta's wide open. I got that little DreamHack tournament next weekend.
Okay.
And then there's like a couple other weekends of stuff, and then it's seasonals. It's like it's gonna be here so fast.
So
1,
fast, yeah.
2, 3, 4. Whew. I'm looking forward to it though. Like, a lot of people don't like the short seasons. I do.
I prefer them.
Yeah. I just want more stuff to be playing in.
It was kind of rough before when it was like 3.5 months or like 3 months or whatever, and you'd hit Masters in like the first week, and then you'd be like,
what now?
Now what do I do? Right? It's kind of what it felt like. But now with a lot shorter season, especially with cards coming out in between, like in the middle of the season, really like throws it all for a loop again. And yeah, new decks are coming out and performing very well. Linear decks seem to kind of be taking center stage at the moment with the like Kinku elusives and stuff.
Real quick before we jump into that, something just dawned on me. So Seasons is in 1 month, and then Worlds is after that in September. Mm-hmm. But for anyone like not qualified for Worlds, the majority of people, what happens after Seasonals?
You wait for the next Seasonals?
But will there be another Seasonals? I mean, I'm sure there will be. But
Probably.
Long story short, what I'm saying is we're probably going to hear some information on what's going on.
Probably closer to this seasonal, right?
Yeah, I would think before typically the when the ladder resets, which will be like 2 weeks after Seasonals, like 6 weeks from now.
It's the week after, I think. It's like the weekend of Seasonals, and then it's like Wednesday.
Well, because there's open Seasonals, top 32 Seasonals the next week.
Sorry, yeah,
and then right. It's kind of different.
You know, I get that confused because I'm just always in top 2.
Just top 32. Yeah,
don't worry about it.
God damn it. Oh, I got top 32 this one. I got it.
Yeah, you do.
For my own, like, I don't know, pride, ego, sanity. I'm not sure which one. I just really want it.
So
But,
yeah, like
long
2
story
weeks,
short-
2 weeks after ladder resets, that's probably the time we'll see some info. Also, we don't like know what's going on with Worlds. We don't
That's
know
right.
what day it is. We don't know what the prize pool breakdown
Format?
is. We don't. I mean, we assume the format's like the Riot
Yeah.
Lock, and then it's like Swiss, and then it cuts to single eliminate. Who knows? Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I expect to see some info about that. Not that like the majority of people really care, right?
Still important though.
It's important.
There's
yeah.
a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the hunt for actually like technically everyone, right? Because
Yeah.
if you can qualify for seasonals and you can top 4 to seasonals, you can then go to
qualify for
Worlds.
Worlds.
So that
Mhm.
that information is relevant to actually everyone currently.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But long story short, I'm excited to see, kind of, I'm hoping a little sneak peek at like what is next
What comes
year,
after?
next season gonna look like. Yeah, because we didn't have a full year leading up to Worlds, right?
No.
Like it started in November was the announcement, and the first seasonals was January,
December,
December.
maybe because the one Cosmic Creation, the one I won, was like February 28th, I think. Like very, very end of February.
Well, you top 32 the first one.
I top 32 the first one.
When was that?
Probably 2 months before.
Yeah.
End of December, early January.
Anyway, so I mean, I guess that's a pretty good. That's 9 months from like December to like September.
Mhm. A lot's changed in 9 months, man.
A lot, yeah. It just keeps changing. It keeps getting better. So that's what I'm kind of getting at. I'm really excited to see. I'm hoping that we get like some sort of like, hey kids, this is what's coming next year. Ta-da! Like
Sneak
we've
peek
had this
at
time
Next
to
season.
plan stuff out.
Season.
Yeah.
I want some
maybe a
rewards
boost
for
to the
seasonals.
prize pool even. Who knows?
Like I'm upset I can't get new card backs. You know what I mean? Like
From seasonals?
from seasonals, yeah.
Yeah,
You top 30.
come
You
on.
can even top 32 as seasonals, and like, I'm not gonna say get nothing because you get like what $150 for like just top 32ing, but like, it's like
But
come
it's
on.
so easy. It's
Give me a
like
new
it's
card
gotta be
back or
like
something.
no work whatsoever for them to do like an icon, a card back would be dope.
Yeah, we have the one seasonal one, but it's the
an
same
emote.
one.
Like would anyone like when some people like for instance when everyone got the fist bump card backs and you just got them because like some writers just gave them out. Like I was like for instance I still don't have one. But it was
Really?
like I never asked. I asked yesterday.
You're like, I'm in the LPP. I better get a goddamn fist bump.
Well, I don't know. Now I felt like before it was like, yeah, if you were just like really awesome in a chat or something, you've done great things for the community, like you can like the writer will give you one. And I was like,
Sick. Yeah.
okay. I'm like, well, whatever. It is what it is. And I just I never asked for it or anything. But anyways, like, there's definitely feel bads when like the haves and the have-nots and
Sure.
stuff like that. And that was especially one that was like, it was like arbitrary. It was just like, some people just get them. And like, whereas I feel like if you win seasonals or if you top 32 seasonals, like you earned it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think anyone feels bad that they don't get that thing. It's like you put in some work and you did really well and you deserve to get like a little freaking thing that's like a card
Give me a
back.
different color
Not-
on the seasonal card back.
Yeah.
Give me like a gold one, right? Or something.
I mean, like, also, how cool would it be, like, if you win seasonals, you get, like, your own emote? Just, like, each season,
So
there's just a
baller. Oh
unique
my God.
emote that only the winner gets.
that's a lot of work, I feel like. But that'd be sick.
You won a 1,000-person tournament.
That's true. And it happens, like, it's 4 people once every other month. You just, like, pay someone to work for, like, 2 days and they
Every
get it done.
2 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
It
That's
could
true.
just
That
be
would be
a variation
amazing.
of one that already exists that has, like, a number 1 on it or something.
Mhm.
It's like the cupcake,
Yeah.
but a 1 comes out.
Yeah. It would
Just-
flood. Like, so, like, are you saying, like, yeah, like, just you get your emote? Like, I would just get, I would be the only one to get, because
You'd be
otherwise
the
it
one
would
that gets
flood the shop. So yeah, I get little Bay doing, I don't know, something. What would I do?
Yeah.
What would my emote be? Crying.
Oh, do you think it's of you?
Or, like, what, do you pick one? Or do you,
I was thinking like this is what you do before season. You're like, okay, guys, here's season whatever, right at the beginning, announcing it. Boom, prize pool, yada yada yada. Here's what the top 1,000 people get. This new card back, and maybe this emote and
or icon.
This
like
icon.
the icon.
Yeah, maybe no. I think emotes are pretty dope, but they're like a lot more.
They are dope.
And stuff.
They're definitely more. Yeah.
But like it's a big deal, right? This is your competitive scene. Like this is like it's every 2 months, and it's this is as big as it gets on the stage. So I'm just saying, emote would be pretty cool. It would be pretty freaking
Top
cool.
32 should get something. I was upset that I won and didn't even get like a plaque.
Exactly. So maybe you go season. I mean, if you're making the emote already, though, I don't know. Anyway, but then top 32, if you got like a unique card back icon, maybe you get an emote for this one. Maybe that's where the emote comes in for top 32. It could just be like the one that they've already made, but like a different color. Or like something. Yeah, I was gonna say you could take
the trophy card back and just make it red. Like flip the color palette and boom.
Or even just like the emotes, like like
a golden version of an emote.
Yeah, like the new popcorn eating one, but like more fireworks in the background. Just like
she goes Super Saiyan or something, and I don't know.
Yeah, just something like just a little bit. And then if you win, it's like boom, you get this super unique to you special emote, whatever the heck it is. Maybe it's just like a one-off that they just made it specifically for the winners. And I mean, like compared to like putting like tens of thousands of dollars more into the prize pool, like imagine they double the prize pool. I'd be like, that's pretty dope. But like at the same time, they're like, imagine you get a unique emote that only you get and it looks super dope. You're like, that's really dope. Like it's. I mean,
I prefer to double the prize pool, but I feel you. I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. Then like if you use
an
it,
extra $10,000 is obviously better than an emote.
You're on ladder or something, and like your opponent uses like this super special emote that only like a seasonal champ winner gets, and you're like, damn, like that's so good. We were talking about this in the Runeterra show yesterday, but we mentioned this a little bit, and then we talked about gauntlets, which is something I'd like to bring up here as well.
Oh yes,
because as mostly competitive players, we pretty much ignore gauntlet. When's the last time you played gauntlet?
I tried it last season or a season before, trying getting some best of 3 practice, and my opponents were basically memeing, and I was like, this is a waste of my time.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Which is unfortunate because right now this is the only way in client to practice the like tournament format.
We did get best of 3 friend challenge.
Get best of 3 friend challenge, right? But yeah, if I'm just a dude and I don't know anybody, like we all were when we started playing, and I want to practice, I can't do that except for Gauntlet. And Gauntlet's, no offense to people who play Gauntlet, kind of like meme-y. Like you said, it's like people don't take it super seriously. The quality of competition you're going to get is not going to be super high. Not to take anything away from the people who qualify for Last Chance Gauntlet. That's different than like just Gauntlet, right? Because people are like really trying to qualify for seasonals there. And I would like to see Gauntlet become something that like mattered a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what we're trying to get at here is that what we really want is a way to play best of 3 all the time, which we now have via friend challenge. But when you have no friends, like me, it just says Majin Bay, and then for some reason I'm blocked. I'm like, hey, best of 3. He's like, sorry, busy. Nope. Busy. But some way that you can just join, play best of 3, have it actually matter for something, and just have that. Yeah. So whether that is a best of 3 ladder, whether that is reworking Gauntlet so that you can play anytime, because sometimes I went to play Gauntlet and you just like, it's not up. I'm like, oh really? Okay. Yeah. So play anytime and have it matter for something, whether that's the 7 and 2 buys, whether that's even just getting a super cool emote that is unique, or
they have like the Gauntlet icons, but like you gotta spice it up a bit. Like if you're gonna make Gauntlet matter, you gotta spice it up a bit.
What are the things you can get? Let's rank them. You can get icons, you can get card backs, you can get emotes, you can get pets.
Yes.
Skins.
skins. Okay, so first off,
Boards?
icons don't matter.
Who cares about
No one
icons?
cares about icons. They're cool, and I get excited about them, and then I realize no one ever sees them, including me, because you see them for a second and then they go away. I would prefer if icons were next to your name in-game. Not that it really matters, but I want icons like be an icon. Like, I want to see it. Card backs are sick.
Then you can do cool stuff with them. Like, if you finish on the ladder first or top 10 or whatever, you can get like a little like top 10 icon. I've always wanted that to be
awesome.
A thing.
Why not, right? That'd be so sick. My idea was to, I'm going to sum up 30 minutes of conversation on the Runeterra show right here for you guys. Basically, we want Gauntlet. We want the way that you qualify for competitive play to reflect the competitive play format. So right now, the only way to do it really is ladder. And ladder's best of 1. And the competitive play format's best of 3. And so if you want to make gauntlets important and you want to qualify for things, like, yes, you can qualify for last chance for gauntlet, but that's not the way majority of people are going to qualify. If you want to make gauntlet a bigger part of the game, it needs better prizes. It needs to be open more, and it needs to be fleshed out a little bit better. And I'm totally okay with that. And then I was going to say something. I think a good way to make gauntlets like cool is that you could have like a weekly gauntlet and it has like a different theme, and you have limited edition prizes. So like the example I gave on the Runeterra show was this week is like Draven's gauntlet or something, and the winners, you get like one chance or something every day or every week, I don't know, and the winners get like a special Draven prismatic. It's like red and has this cool flare at the top or something. I don't know.
What do you mean prismatic?
Yeah. What did I say?
You said Draven prismatic. But what is that? Like a skin?
Okay, no, you know the golden border thing? Like on cards, the prismatic?
Oh,
it's
prismatic.
Like the OG
yeah,
cosmetic?
I forgot that was a thing, actually.
Yeah, that, but like special.
Aha. Okay, I got you.
Like maybe Draven has one and it's red or whatever, or like maybe Ezreal has one and it has sparks going along the border, something like that, right? And then it comes back every few months. Maybe they recycle them to give people who couldn't get it originally a chance to get it again. Sure. I think something like that would bring a lot of attention, because I would play Gauntlet for that.
Yeah. Well, there is something to be said about, like, the whole, like, why do people play video games? So, like, why are they super addicting when it's like, oh, you keep leveling up your character and, like, you keep getting more stuff. And, like, you can see that they've tried to do that with, like, you can, like, level up your champions. But currently they don't do anything, right? The mastery, you just get that little icon, doesn't do anything.
Like, you can watch your ladder points go up and down, but you need something else.
Yeah, you need something else. More reasons to play the game, more stuff going on.
And we're going in the right direction 100%. Like, the game has been getting better and better and better about that, right? But I would just like to see more. This is just my feedback, my opinion. I think Gauntlet is also another thing we brought up is the barrier to entry from going from like casual play to competitive play is pretty high. It's very daunting for someone to go from only playing one deck on ladder to playing in a best of 3 format where you have to bring 3 decks, have a cohesive lineup, ban one. Like, that's a lot you have to learn how to do. You have to learn to play 3 different decks. You have to figure out how you want to build your lineup. You have to figure out what your opponents can, like, what you're going to ban on your opponents. What if they ban your favorite deck? Like, that sucks. It's daunting. I remember me doing that. I came from a background of playing like Magic the Gathering, right? There's only one deck. You only bring one deck for a tournament. And then the prospect of finding 3 decks and then like getting my best deck banned was tough. And then I had no idea what to ban on my opponent's side the first time I like thought about it. I was like, okay, what if they bring these 3 decks? Well,
then
I don't know, right? Like, this was such an alien concept to me. And
a bunch of decks that you've never seen before also, because you can't play them on the ladder.
Exactly. Yeah, tournament decks and ladder decks are not the same. And I want that barrier to entry lowered. Like, League of Legends or like Magic the Gathering or Street Fighter, the competitive play is exactly the same as just what you'd play online, right? Maybe the rules are tweaked just a little bit to make it more like strict, but that's it. It's the same game. And yeah, if it was daunting for me, who was already a high-level competitive player in another very similar game, I can't imagine what it's like to try to make it into to break in as a player who's never played competitive card games before. When the format, like I said, when the format doesn't reflect what they've been playing. And Gauntlet, I think, is a great idea and already like a great foot in the door. I think if they flesh it out and really put more resources into it, it could be a great, just a great way to get players from here to there, to bridge the gap, right?
Yeah, the other problem also with not seeing those decks on the ladder is you won't get to test against them ever. And if you're trying them out, these other tournament decks, you're gonna get crushed a lot of the time. Whatever the top ladder decks are, they're typically the top ladder decks because they do crush a lot of these other decks. But in tournaments, they will get targeted or they will get banned, and thus everything changes.
Yeah, or maybe they're just not that good because the deck's counter you can't play because if you run into aggro, you auto lose, right? But you can ban aggro, and all of a sudden Teemo Ezreal's good.
Yeah. Man, I remember after my first seasonals being okay, let's go see what's good, and I was like, what are these decks? What are? I've never heard of these.
I've never seen these before. Yeah.
Why didn't people tell me that these were good? Are they good? Why? I have no idea what's going on here. Yeah, it was a very it was a huge step, and I had to learn a whole bunch about tournaments and lineups, and yeah, so be able to bridge that gap, like you say, man. That's why you keep asking for a best of 3 ladder, because then you can just test.
You just do that.
You can just play that format all the time as much as you want. And it just makes a bunch of sense.
Yep. Well, that's enough about that. We should probably talk about what people are here to hear.
I don't know. I think stuff. We could hit that dead horse one more time at least.
We'll probably talk about it next week. I'm just going to keep talking about it until it happens.
I may or may not have already broached that for whoever will listen over at Riot. So we be pushing.
Oh, yeah. So we are newly inducted into the League Partner Program, which is awesome. Jason's first thing he did was message them saying, hey guys, it's nice to be here. They're like, welcome. And he's like, thank you. It's nice to be here. Can I get best of 3, please? Can I get best of 3 on ladder?
The exact phrase was, who can I send flowers, chocolates, or bribes to get best of 3 ladder? But so, basically, hi, thank you for welcoming me to the thing. Best of 3 ladder, please.
I want this now. Yeah. So Jason's out here fighting the good fight. Okay, new cards. We have 2 new champs. Akshan Viego. Have you played with either of them, really?
Yes. I have played with Viego. I have not played with Akshan. Though we've played games together, so that kind of
we have played games together, yeah, and you've watched me play some Akshan. I've been playing a lot of him. He's very cool. He's very good, very flexible. He falls into the same vein as Zoe and Aphelios. We can kind of play him with anything. And he's like a cheapish champ. You don't have to make the deck about them. They're just naturally good.
Yeah, okay, let's jump into the hot or not questions.
So
we'll start with Akshan. Hot or not?
Oh, yes, hot. Okay, I see why we did this now. Yes, Akshan is hot. Like I said, he's very flexible and he's very strong. He also has an infinite combo right now, which I believe is going to get patched out this week. That's what Ruben said, at least. It's with the solitary monks and Zillion and activating the horde, the treasure trove or whatever it's called, is landmark multiple times. And then you make your whole deck free. And then you put a bunch of time bombs in the deck, draw your entire deck, and time bomb your opponent out from 20. It's a good time. We did it actually right before this.
Yeah, so follow-up question. Infinite combo deck, hot or not?
I'm going to go with not. One, because I think it's not the greatest deck. It's not bad. It's actually, pretty decent. The games we lost, we were, 1 mana or 1 turn away from just killing them, even through interaction. But since we know it's going to be hot fixed, I wouldn't pick it up. That's why I'm giving it the not, because it's going to go away.
But do you think it would be good enough to see actual play, like to beat up on the ladder or see tournament play?
No, probably not. It's close. It's very good. But, like, you could play a deck that does things like that and just not combo them. Like, you could probably just kill them, right? If you can activate actions like level 2 landmark twice, you're probably just going to win the game anyway.
That's fair. Yeah. You don't need to go the whole way.
Yeah, you don't need to get crazy with it, but it is very fun.
Okay, Viego, hot or not?
This is tough. I'm seeing a lot of him. I'm gonna go with not. People are gonna hate me for this. He's like, a lot of people are seeing quite a bit of success with him though, but I don't know if it's just because the format's wide open and like no one knows what's going on, or if it's because he's actually good, or maybe we'll see a refined list come out because people are playing a bunch of him in like a bunch of things. Demacia, Shurima, Mono, with Nasus, with Thresh, like with Shyvana. People don't know what to play him with yet. And so we're kind of going to have to wait to see. Can I give this one a lukewarm?
Yeah. I would have gone with like a definite not before the cards came out. But I'll give Viego an actual hot, not just because of those abs.
Yeah.
He
hits the board bigger than his 5/4.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's always like a 7/6, or the encroaching miss that he makes are very relevant. I always kind of screw that up. I'm always like, okay, I'm gonna kill this thing, and I'm like, oh crap,
he's bigger again.
Encroaching
God
miss
damn it.
gonna come out.
Yeah,
the miss end up being huge, really fast. They're good on offense and defense. You can combo them with all the Shadow Isle stuff, like Glimpse Beyond or Ravenous Butcher or Spirit Leech. There's just all kinds of stuff, a way to get value out of them. So I think he's good. I think he needs to find a home. Yeah, I think he's gonna be around for some time to come.
I agree. People will play him.
Too.
He's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, how about the whale that we spoke about previously? Is the pod.
Super hot. Love the whale. Scattered Pod. This is the Attune one. Again, this is my favorite card of the expansion. Just love it, man. It draws cards.
Card's good. Yeah.
What else do you want?
I think
Gigantic Zap Spray Fin.
Yeah. It's like, it's good enough that like it might even get hit at some point. Like, it is real good.
I don't know about that. It's played in like 2 things. Yeah.
We'll see. It's very solid. I mean,
let me have good cards, Jason.
No, unacceptable. Yeah, we're gonna see that card in all kinds of decks for a long time to come. Okay, next up, what do you think of the new Lee Sin with Akshan? Yeah.
I originally didn't like it. I thought it was kind of memey. But something that people were putting me on was triple retreat return in the deck, which sounds ridiculous. But once you add the 3 mana guy that like takes up Akshan's horde or makes it or whatever, the palace thing, and the triple retreat, it ends up being a lot more consistent. And right now, the like removal of choice is just granting things vulnerable and attacking it. And so your Eye of the Dragons are so vulnerable. Like, that's why I don't play Zoe Lee right now, is because your Zoe and Eye of Dragon are going to die. And even if you save them, they're going to die next turn. Like, granting vulnerable is just everywhere, and it's so powerful. So Retreat Return lets you bounce these units, getting rid of the vulnerable, putting them back, getting enough, like, you've cast enough spells to get a Dragonling the next turn if you have an Eye of the Dragon. Or it starts ticking up your palace. I know you're aware of this, but some of the viewers might not be. If you have like the palace on the field, this is Akshan's landmark, and you cast Retreat on a unit, that counts as 1. The return counts as... So if I target Akshan, right, the Retreat counts as 1 when you target him to bounce him. The return counts as 1 when you target him in the hand. And him hitting the battlefield counts as another 1.
Huh.
So that's 3. If you do it on the 3 mana guy that ticks your thing down by 2, that's 4. From 1 spell and 3 mana. that you're probably going to use to save your guy anyway. It's very strong. And then, the new card, you also run 3 copies of Sonic Wave. Very good with the 2-mana First Striker, or Quick Attacker, or whatever it's called in this game. Also very good with Eye of the Dragon, which we've previously seen. And then the Absolver, the new 2-mana burst +2/+1. If you leveled a champ, you get a fleeting +2/+1 Overwhelm at burst as well for 2 mana. The card's very good with Lee. Very good. It's so much less clunky than Zenith Blade. It does have its drawbacks. Like, Zenith Blade has permanent health buff, which is very nice. And Lee just always have Overwhelm. So, like, you can't just slap a Zenith on, like, Akshan or whatever. But this does a good job of getting around that. And, yeah, the deck's the real deal. It's pretty good.
Do you think this replaces... Like Zoe, like Lee Sin Zoe? Is it on the same level? Is it better? Is it not as good?
I think it depends on the meta. If we're in a field, like right now, the meta is the most like format shaping card is probably like Merciless Hunter.
Yeah.
Right? And Zoe Lee is horrible against Merciless Hunter. Terrible. Whereas Akshan Lee is not. So if the format is Merciless Hunter, Akshan Lee is where I want to be. If it's not, if it's like slower mid-rangier decks, or even like aggro decks, I want to be on Zoe Lee. And I want to run like that gifts package for the 6 Eye of the Dragons.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Mm-hmm. Okay, next up, Lurk. Hot or not?
Ooh. I think it's still hot. I don't think anyone's playing it right now, though, because there's new stuff out. And I don't know about other people, but I don't think Lurk's very exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah, it's pretty linear, kind of boring to play for me. Some people really like it, but it's not my thing. So I think the deck's still good. Like, we'll have to see. You know, we are 2 days. This is the morning, 2 days after the patch. So, like, everything's still pretty new. Take everything you hear here with a grain of salt. It might change in a week. It will change in a week.
Oh, man. Everything changes every day, practically, right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, next up, the Teemo Zed Elusive Studin deck. Hot or not?
Right now, hot. This deck is kicking ass on ladder. Currently rank 1. I saw some other people climbing with it. But if the format changes, like right now, what I was talking about this on the Runeterra show, the reason why this is so good is because decks like Aksha and Sivir are forgoing their own interaction to make their own goldfish faster. By goldfish, I mean like they're solitaire. They're going more linear. They're focusing more on enhancing their game plan rather than stopping yours. That's called goldfishing. If you just ignore your opponent and do your own thing, decks like Sivir decks are trying to goldfish more, which frees these like super linear elusive decks to just run you over because you have no interaction anymore. The second everyone just starts playing Feel the Rush again or like Draven Ezreal, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, there's a good one. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sudden also plays that deck really well. I've played him quite a few times.
Very strong player. Yeah.
And they've been able to squeak me out quite a few times where I'm like, I got this one finally. And they're like, nope,
exactly damage. Yeah, and you're like,
Exactsies get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ezreal Draven, hot or not?
I still think it's hot. I still like Ezreal Draven. I think it's totally fine here. It's just so well-rounded. The optimal build will depend on what like rises to the top of this meta. So like if the elusive deck stays to be like a very, very big player, Ezreal Draven will be built differently than say if Shen Jarvan kind of takes over the meta, right? So it's a very flexible deck, very strong. We've seen it like be a top deck for a very, very long time, and I don't think that's going to change here.
Yeah, hopefully. It's like one of the few decks left that I can still play. Speaking of decks that I can play, Thresh Nasus, hot or not?
No. Thresh Nasus is stone cold right now. That deck is not where you want to be. Not where you want to be. Will of Ionia at 4. Decks are faster than you. These Sivir decks just run you over. Not where I want to be right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think that shell, you could take it morph it into do some other things.
We've seen the like self-sacrifice Shadow Isle shell be transferred to Viego mostly.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. I want to try that out as well. Seems like could be something there.
It's pretty strong.
How about Sivir decks? Whether they be Akshan or we've seen Targon, the original was Zed, but Sivir decks in general.
LeBlanc. Yeah, 2 big thumbs up. Sivir Shell, especially with the new Treasure Seeker or whatever, the 2/1 that makes the 5/2 ephemeral.
So good.
That card's insane. Like that, Rockhopper, Merciless Hunter, Sivir, Ruin Runner, and Shapestone are that's the Shurima Sivir Shell. And right now, it's just better than everything else in the game. That doesn't mean that decks can't compete with it. I just mean that pound for pound, card for card, these are stronger than anything you're bringing to the table. It's just so powerful. I would really like to see Merciless Hunter get a little bit of a hit. Just take off the Fearsome or 1 point of power, and I'll be happy with that. But yeah, those decks are here to stay.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, maybe last one.
Ezreal Karma?
That was actually what I was going to say. Thank you. I was searching for it. Ezreal Karma, hot or not?
Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to give this one a conditional. I don't know. I think it will have a much bigger tournament presence than it will ladder presence. It definitely struggles against the Sivir decks. And a lot of lineups want to ban the Sivir deck anyway. So a lineup like Ez Karma, Zoe Lee, something else, would want to ban the Sivir deck. And so then it gets a lot stronger. But yeah, on ladder, I just don't know what I'm going to play. And sometimes your removal spells just line up really badly. And God, your Eye of the Dragon dies every single game, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think the new Scattered Pod is really good for Ezreal Karma. But we're going to have to wait and see on this one.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had tried it yet and what you thought of it.
Mm-hmm. Immediately after the patch, I tried it. It was good. Gave you some another angle to attack. The body to block is very relevant in that deck.
Yes. Yeah. When you have all those reactionary spells, having a giant body makes it so that your opponent often has to attack into it and then use their spells first, and then you can...
And then you win. And then you blow them out.
Exactly, yeah. You get to counter them. Rather than them attacking you having nothing really, and you being forced to use your removal spells, and then they get to, buff their thing, counter, whatever, as they see fit. There's actually one more, sorry. Aurelia Azir. Hot or not?
I don't know. I haven't seen it since the patch.
Yeah. It's still there.
Good, I'm sure. But it was never at the dominance level that it was before, right? The nerfs did some serious work to it. Thank God. And yeah, I think the deck's still top of tier 2, bottom of tier 1, and I think that's totally fine. Playable. If you want to play on ladder, you totally can.
Yeah. Do you think you'll see some more play in tournaments?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still the best Turbo Thralls Feel the Rush Punisher in the format. And anything that is that polarizing will see tournament play because you have lineups specifically built to punish certain styles of decks.
Yeah, totally. Okay, you bring up another good point. How about this will be a twofer. Turbo Thralls, and also, speaking of Talia Malphite, which has got a bit of a buff from one of the recent cards. How about those two?
I haven't seen Turbo Thralls since the expansion.
Yeah.
I think the rise of linear decks is kind of keeping it out. How are you going to play Turbo Thralls against, Elusives or...
even Lurk?
Even Lurk, yeah. Akshan Lee seems like a really bad matchup for Turbo Thralls. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but... Because you have to, answer the action. Yeah. I don't know. Turbo Throws, I never really liked playing the deck. If it is the real deal, if it is going to be good, you'll see it come back in the next week. It will start to resurface on ladder again. Still a good tournament deck, I think, no matter what happens. About Talia Malphite, I have no idea. I've played the deck once for a YouTube video, and that's about it. We'd have to ask Grandpa Roji.
There's been some rumblings from Grandpa Roji that what's the new card that gives +2/+1, and then if you level a champion, Absolver.
Very good with Malphite and Talia. Yeah. He loves that card.
Yeah. Are you looking to slot it into your like Sivir decks?
Not really. At the current moment, no. But depends on how the format shapes up. Like if there are a lot of chump blockers, which right now in the format there aren't a ton.
So
Vile
trying to race past each other.
Yeah. Vile Feasts are kind of at like an all-time low. There's no Helpless Aristocrats. Fading Icons fading out. That kind of stuff. There's less chump blockers, so Overwhelm's not as important. But if it is, then we'll see Absolver come in the Sivir decks for sure.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, well that's it for our hot or not questions. Do you have anything else you want to throw in there as we wrap this one up?
Not really, no. It's super early in the format, so like if you see this and I say, oh, I think this deck's really good, and you're like, that's weird, it doesn't seem to be anywhere, that might just be because the format has evolved past it. If I said a deck's not good and you see it putting up numbers, like, I could be wrong. We're not sure yet. These are our very, very, like, initial impressions.
Yeah, when everything's this wide open, it's hard to get real data, because it's tough to tell which decks actually matter. And slowly but surely, people will start to coalesce towards decks that are winning more and more and more, and like the meta will eventually start to stabilize. But how soon is the real question, because this one is wider open than I think we've like ever really seen.
It's more wider.
It's like it's the number of like different, because the problem is that like with each champion, there's a bunch of different decks that it can slot into. So It's like there's like in the meta itself, there's like mini metas kind of like down with all these different decks trying to figure out what the best solution is, like what the best combination is there, and then what's the best list, and then how do those all do against each other once you figure that out. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Normally the meta like gets kind of, I don't know if solved is the right word, but like streamlined pretty quickly. Like a week in, it starts to really kind of like filter out. By 2 weeks in, it's like, okay, you've really got it. But this time, I don't know. This time I feel like it might take a little bit longer.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it for us this week. Thank you guys so much. If you are watching this on podcast, please, if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, please click the subscribe button, the like button. It helps us out. If you're listening on iTunes, if you want to leave us a, what is it called? The thing down at the bottom, comment. It's like a review. That really helps us out as well.
Is that a thing? I haven't been on iTunes since like 2011.
I also don't use it. Yeah. No, not knocking anyone that does. Just haven't been an Apple user.
I don't have Apple products
in a while. Yeah. I recently got an iPhone though. I went back after years of Android use. But apparently
the Apple gang.
So the podcast that I listen to, they tell everyone, hey, if you leave us a review, that was the word I was looking for. Apparently it helps quite a bit. So
do that.
All that stuff. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. That's it for us. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay. New episodes come out every Friday. If you haven't done so already, be sure to join us on Discord, check out the Patreon team, and have a look at our deck database on Twitter at Master Runeterra. Links to all of these can be found in the show notes and description.